Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and let's go.
Trust is a luxury that often costs a man everything he's built over decades. In this case, the threat was not lurking in the shadows. It was sitting in the next chair, smiling while dismantling a life from the inside. Watch closely, because identifying these invisible patterns is the only thing that stands between your legacy and a calculated takeover. Educational purpose only. You know me. I'm 45 years old. I've spent 20 years grinding in the financial district, staring at spreadsheets until my eyes crossed. I'm the guy who follows the rules. I pay my taxes on time, I keep my lawn at exactly 2 inches, and I drive a Chevy Tahoe because it's reliable. I thought I had it all figured out. A solid job as a senior analyst, a nice house in the suburbs with a 3-car garage. And Lisa. We'd been married for 15 years. She was my rock, or so I thought. Lately, she'd been off, cold, like a fridge that stopped humming in the middle of the night. She said she was tired, stressed from her real estate meetings. I bought it. I'm an idiot, I know. I just figured we were hitting that midlife slump everyone talks about at the barbecue. Anyway, things started to change when this new guy, Tom, joined the firm. He was 28, sharp suits, hair that cost more than my first car. The kind of guy who drinks green juice and talks about disrupting the market. He was a hotshot, a real golden boy. Since he was the new associate, I had to show him the ropes. We started grabbing lunch, and honestly, he was charming. Too charming. Here's the kicker. A few weeks ago, after a brutal Tuesday, Tom suggests we hit that little dive bar near the office. Not the fancy place with the $12 craft beers, just a regular spot. We're sitting there, and Tom is 3 drinks in. He's feeling good. He starts talking about this woman he's seeing. He's all lit up like a Christmas tree on the 4th of July. "Alex, man," he says, leaning in like he's about to tell me the secret to the universe. "I've hit the jackpot. She's older, sophisticated, and she's got this fire. She's married, but she says the guy is a total snooze fest, a human calculator. She's just waiting for the right moment to bail." I laughed. I actually laughed. I told him, "Careful, Tom. That's a dangerous game." "Worth it," he says. He pulls out his iPhone 15 Pro Max. "Look at this. Is it not she's something?" He slides the phone across the scarred wooden table. I pick it up. My heart did not break. It did not stop. It felt like someone had reached into my chest with a pair of pliers and just twisted. It was Lisa. My Lisa. She was wearing that red silk dress I bought her for our anniversary 2 years ago, the one she said did not fit her anymore. She was smiling a smile I had not seen in a decade. I did not scream. I did not throw the phone. I just sat there. I looked at the screen and felt the sweat start to prickle on the back of my neck. I realized right then that my entire life was a lie. Every "I love you" before she left for yoga, every late-night working session at her office, it was all trash. "She's a knockout, right?" Tom says, grinning like a hyena. "Yeah," I said. My voice sounded like it was coming from a mile away. "She's something else. She's taking me to this cabin this weekend," he continues, oblivious. "Up by the lake. She says she's been there before and it's perfect. Private. We're going to have the whole place to ourselves." That cabin. My father built that cabin. It was our family's spot. And she was taking this kid there? To my father's house? Listen, that was the moment the old Alex died. The guy who played by the rules, he walked out of that bar. The guy who stayed, he was a stranger. I did not tell Tom who I was. Why would I? You do not tell the deer you're about to pull the trigger. I went home that night and she was in bed, pretending to sleep. I stood in the doorway and watched her. She looked so innocent, but I knew better now. I went to the guest room, sat on the edge of the bed, and just stared at the wall for 4 hours. No sleep, just thinking. The next morning, I started digging. I'm an analyst, remember? Finding patterns is what I do. I went through our joint accounts. I saw the withdrawals. $500 here, $800 there, all labeled as personal expenses or shopping. But there were no new clothes in the closet. I checked the cloud storage on our shared iPad, and that's when I found the folder. It was not just pictures of them. It was worse. Much worse. She had screenshots of our financial statements. She had notes about my work projects. She was documenting everything. There was a draft of a legal filing. She was not just cheating. She was planning to claim I was hiding assets. She wanted to take the house, the Tahoe, my 401k, everything I'd worked 20 years for. She was going to frame me for financial fraud using some creative accounting she'd cooked up. I felt a coldness settle into my bones. It was not sadness anymore. It was pure, focused rage. But I did not confront her. Not yet. I went to work the next day and acted like nothing was wrong. Tom came by my desk, asking for advice on a merger. I helped him. I even cracked a joke about his mystery woman. "How's the planning for the lake trip going?" I asked, real casual. "Great," he said. "She's even helping me with some career stuff. She says she knows some people who can get me into the executive track." I knew exactly what she was doing. She was using my contacts. She was using my life to build a new one for him. I spent the rest of the day moving money. Not in a way she'd notice immediately. I shifted things into private accounts she could not touch. I talked to a buddy of mine who handles special security. I had him install a few things in the house. Cameras, tiny ones, high definition. A few days later, I'm at the office and Tom is showing me his phone again. "Look at this, Alex," he says. "She's at home right now, getting ready for our date tonight. She set up this smart home link so I can see her whenever I want. Is it not that wild?" He shows me a live feed on his phone. It's my bedroom. My own damn bedroom. I see Lisa walking across the frame in black lace lingerie. She's looking at herself in the mirror, pouting. She says her husband is out of town on a business trip. Tom laughs. Poor bastard is probably sitting in a Marriott eating a club sandwich while I'm getting this. I was not out of town. I was standing 5 feet away from him. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A notification from my own security app. Movement detected in master bedroom. I looked Tom right in the eye. I did not blink. "Tom," I said, my voice low and steady, "why do not you come over for dinner tonight? My wife is finally back from her trip. I'd love for you to meet her. I think you guys have a lot in common." Tom's eyes went wide. He looked excited. "Really? Man, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see how a pro like you lives." "Oh, you'll see," I said. "You'll see exactly how I live." I called Lisa. I told her I was bringing a special guest home, a new protege from work. I told her to make it a nice dinner, put on that red dress, open the good wine. She sounded hesitant, but she agreed. She thought she was still in control. I went to the store and bought the most expensive bottle of Napa Valley Cabernet they had. $250. I wanted everything to be perfect. When I got home, the house smelled like roasted chicken and rosemary. Lisa was standing in the kitchen, looking like a dream. She kissed my cheek. It felt like a snake crawling over my skin. "Who is this guest, Alex?" she asked, smoothing her dress. "Just a young guy from the office," I said. "He's got a bright future." Or he did, anyway. The doorbell rang at exactly 7 o'clock. I walked to the door. I could see Tom through the sidelight. He was wearing a new blazer. He was holding a bouquet of flowers. He looked like a kid on his way to prom. I opened the door and smiled. "Come on in, Tom," I said. "Welcome to my home." He stepped inside, grinning. "Nice place, Alex. Really classic." He walked into the living room, and Lisa turned around from the kitchen island, wine glass in hand. The silence that hit that room was louder than a gunshot. Tom froze. The flowers nearly slipped from his hand. Lisa's face went from a polite hostess smile to a mask of pure, unadulterated terror in 3 seconds flat. She turned so white, I thought she was going to faint right on the hardwood. "Tom," I said, real smooth, like I was introducing two people at a cocktail party. "Meet my wife, Lisa. Lisa, this is Tom. You might remember him. He's the guy who's been taking you to my father's cabin." Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. What is this?" Tom stammered. He looked at Lisa, then at me. "Alex, what the hell?" "The hell, Tom?" I said, walking over to the TV and picking up the remote. "Is that you've been sleeping with my wife, and she's been using you to try and ruin me." I hit a button on the remote. The big 65-inch screen on the wall flickered to life. It was not Netflix. It was the footage from the bedroom. It was the recordings of them talking about the fraud plan. It was Lisa telling Tom how much she hated me. Lisa started to shake. "Alex, please, I can explain." "Explain what, Lisa?" I asked. I was not shouting. I was calm. That was the scariest part. "Explain the $5,000 ring you bought him with our anniversary money. Explain the documents you forged to try and put me in prison for a divorce settlement." Tom backed away toward the door. "I did not know, Alex, I swear. She told me you were a jerk. She told me it was over." "It is over, Tom," I said, "for both of you." I pulled out a thick envelope from the side table. "Tom, I took the liberty of calling the managing director this afternoon. I sent him a copy of your little live feed app and the recordings where you talk about fudging the numbers on the Henderson account to impress Lisa. You're fired, effective 5 minutes ago. Your security badge has already been deactivated." Tom looked like he wanted to cry. "Alex, no. Please, I have student loans." "And Lisa?" I turned to her. She was sobbing now, big, ugly tears. "The police are on their way. Turns out, forging financial documents and conspiracy to commit fraud are actual crimes. Who knew, right?" The look on her face, it was worth every penny I'd lost. I did not stay to watch them take her away. I did not stay to hear Tom beg. I just grabbed my keys and walked out. That was 3 months ago. I moved to a small town 2 hours away. I sold the house. I kept the Tahoe. I'm starting over. The divorce was quick. Turns out, when you have video evidence of your wife conspiring to frame you for a felony, her lawyers do not have much to say. I got everything: the house, the accounts, even her car. I sold it all and put it into a new life. I'm sitting here now, looking at the mountains, and for the first time in 20 years, I can breathe. Anyway, that's the story. Life is funny, isn't it? You think you know someone, you think you're safe, but the world is full of people waiting to take what's yours. You just have to be ready to take it back. Want me to order some wings? I'm starving. The hero's biggest mistake was not his initial trust. It was ignoring the subtle shifts in the domestic atmosphere until they became a storm. He survived because he stopped being a victim and started being an auditor of his own reality. First, never ignore a sudden change in your partner's professional ambitions or schedule. Second, maintain a clear, separate understanding of your digital and financial footprints. And finally, remember that in a crisis, silence and preparation are more powerful than any loud confrontation. What would you have done if you saw that photo on a coworker's phone? Write your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for more honest case studies on protecting what's yours.